Well, that is more ruddy like it, ladies and gentlemen, in the Premier League. Chelsea 2, Everton 0. Nil point for David Moyes' Everton, who, by the way, were in form. Yes, this fixture's not been kind to them historically, but they were in form, and hot dog, mate, they were 1 point behind us going into this game. They were in form, and you know what? We weren't. So I was naturally worried about what would happen. But it was a professional performance, masterclasses from such players like Malo Gusto, who is really, really becoming a fine young player. Wesley Fofana, of course, you all know he's my favourite of the defenders, and has been ever since we saw when I loved him at Leicester. In fact, I catch a lot of stick from many of you guys when I kept waxing lyrical about him while he was injured. But he's the boy, I think. Trev's very, very good as well. Their partnership's great. Cucurella looks better, though he's not quite where he was in terms of how good he was playing. Robin goal, formidable, but we will go through the defence. The general player performances, not all good. Not all good. We have to speak about Alejandro Garnacho's finishing. Yeah, João Pedro maybe losing the ball a lot. That all needs to be discussed. But welcome on back, friends. Back in the top 4. Lovely stuff. Yum, yum, yum. Where are we, in fact? Yeah, we are 4th place. In front of Crystal Palace, who are yet to play. But, yeah, it bodes well. We're going to get into it. So welcome on back. Thank you for supporting the content. You're all welcome here, man. If you're on the YouTube, please do consider liking and subscribing. Hitting the bell if you subscribe. And if you're listening on podcast platforms, of which it's available everywhere, man. Apple, Spotify, and others. Please follow and drop 5 stars so other people can find it. Yeah. Thank you for that. Let's get into it. So let's take a look. This is how we lined up. Yeah. And it's great to see. It's a strong old lineup. Remember, of course, this is the last game that Moises Caicedo serving as a suspension, but we've got big old Rob Sanchez in goal, who's been playing well. The aforementioned back 4, a midfield 2 of captain and vice-captain Reece James and Enzo Fernandez. I'm not entirely sure why SofaScore has given Enzo Fernandez a better rating than Reece James, but there we go. Cole Palmer getting some good minutes, playing in the number 10, scoring a lovely goal. We'll speak about that as well. João Pedro starting as a striker. Garnacho and Netto being the wingers. Netto getting another goal involvement, bro. Netto has undoubtedly been Chelsea's best attacker this season. Yeah, he 3 goals in the Club World Cup. He ended last campaign well, and this season he's been wicked. He averages a goal involvement over every other game. No, under every other game, sorry. His proactivity for a winger is very strong. And he works so hard. And he plays on both sides. And as a false 9, he's a top boy. He's in the form of his career. He's entering his prime. Superb scenes. And you can understand why he starts over Estevao. And of course, Estevao came on and, he's exciting. He will be amazing, Estevao. But he gave the ball away pretty quickly and easily. Which got him a very low rating on SofaScore. But, that doesn't reflect him as a talent. He's going to be amazing. He really is. So let's talk about this then, shall we? Everton lined up with a sort of 4-2-3-1 themselves. Of course, a big early story was Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall going off injured, who's been in scintillating form for Everton in their recent uptake of form. It was a shame, really. He got a good reception when he came off, like applause from Stamford Bridge. Reece James went up to him, put his arm around him, spoke to him a little bit. But hopefully it's not too bad and he'll come back because it's been a nice story. Dewsbury-Hall at Everton. Sorry, I got a bit of a cold and I'm a little bit hungover, so excuse me for that. So that was a shame for him. We saw 4 substitutes from, let's talk about that lineup first. Obviously, they've got Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall came off, Jack Grealish, and Di is a good player who nearly scored late doors to make the game interesting. Barry and Beto always rotate. Of course, Garner and Gay is a good midfield, and they've got a good back 5 if you include the goalkeeper. Maybe Jordan Pickford didn't have his best day. Beto, and of course Alcaraz came on early for KDH. Tyler Dibbling is a very exciting player. We'll see the rest of him in the future, I suppose. And some geezer, who I must say I'm not familiar with, called Tim Irogabunum. I really went with that with no run-up. We only made 3 substitutions. Santos at 58 minutes for Parma. Great to see Santos. We'll talk about his finish as well, his non-finish. And Jamie Gittins for Garnacho, who Gittins maybe played better than Garnacho. Certainly rated his, reflected on Sofa scores much higher. But the finishing, we need to talk about the finishing. Yeah. Let's take you through the timeline, baby. For those of you watching, the attacking Malo Gusto's got player of the match, the goal and assist, and great defensive, contributions. 8.8 rating. Ooh, a whopper. Pretty even attacking momentum in the first half, but Everton really threatened towards the end. Chelsea scored at the best times. The middle of the first half. So you're feeling out the game. It's not like a really early fluke goal that you don't know how to defend. We felt out the game for 20 odd minutes, scored a goal, and then scored again right before the half ended, so we could professionally see out the second half, of which, sort of toed and froed a little bit, but we were comfortable. Statistically, it goes a little something like this. Chelsea worthy winners here, over 2 XG to 1.03, and that was probably that late chance for Everton. 58% possession, 5 big chances. I think we've got to be doing better with 5 big chances. 17 shots. Rob made a couple of good saves, but he made lots of claims as well, which I was very pleased about. I like to see a goalkeeper commanding the area, coming out and grabbing the ball and going, right, you lot. You children, stop being silly. I'm going to grab this ball. I'm going to say the joke I did in my Instagram halftime live. Robert Sanchez this season has claimed more balls than Bonnie Blue. Zing! Right. So Cole Palmer scored in the 21st minute, and it was an excellent assist from Malo Gusto. And let me tell you about this goal. Because it's great, it's an amazing finish, running through in the channel from Cole and finishing beautifully, giving Pickford the eyes. It's a great assist from Malo Gusto, yeah? But not just that, the other thing worth mentioning was the ball to Malo Gusto came from Wesley, and Wesley was going to play it to Palmer, as in, I'm going to play this into you, you go score, but Palmer, no, he pointed to Gusto, play it to him, knowing that if he goes to Gusto, the more high value pass will be there. For all that, Cole Palmer comes across as maybe not the sharpest knife in the drawer sometimes, his football intelligence is legitimately next level. It's not just he's amazing on the ball when it's natural. He knows what to do. He's cerebral on the pitch. And he was like, no, he points there, we'll get more of a high value chance if you make that combination. Wesley, having an excellent game, was like, yep, I'll do that, boss. Malo Gusto, having an excellent game, executed a beautiful weighted channel through ball to the talismanic Cole Palmer, who finished beautifully in the 21st minute. He gets his goal at Stamford Bridge. He does the cold celebration. Everybody's happy, and Malo Gusto, even before this goal, he came to eat today. He was all over the gaff, Malo Gusto. Of course, he scores from a Pedro Netto sort of cutback. Pedro Netto just continuing to be undroppable, basically. But let's have a look at Gusto's stats, shall we? Let's do that. So he was kind of playing as looks like a sort of hybrid. He obviously spent a lot of time. Let's have a look at all the midfielders then. Let's work this out. So it was kind of left. Look at Fernandez's heat map on the left here. So Fernandez was occupying the left pocket. Reece was the Caicedo role, I suppose. And then Gusto was the sort of right defensive pocket. So they sort of covered the midfield together, really. But, Gusto did get forward at some points. But, it looks like he had a really good game. He made an interception, 4 recoveries, 4 clearances. He went up for 1 aerial. He won it. How do I look at the different stats? I don't like this new format. I don't like it. I mean, he scored from an expected goal of 0.32. So it was an excellent finish from the Frenchman. Yeah. And I love it. Because when he first joined Chelsea, had the amazing, dare I say amazing, very good season under Pochettino. Chelsea fans on social media were going, oh, we've got the best 2 right-backs in the league. Reece James and Malo Gusto. Malo was like 19 at the time. We spent like 20 million quid on him, not much. And we're like, oh, this is a good signing. He looks like, but he was literally running up and down, tracking back, making tackles, putting in a lot of crosses and like cutbacks and getting quite a few assists. Obviously, he never scored. He only scored recently. He's just doubled his Chelsea goals in today's game. But he's, he was playing really well as a conventional right back. But I tell you what, he's looking like, for all the criticism that Maresca gets with a lot of stuff, seeing Reece James as a midfielder, a lot of people think, that's a waste. And then he puts in like, this sort of real eye-opening performance against Arsenal in the midfield when Caicedo gets sent off and he just has to run the midfield himself and he just bullies Declan Rice. And everyone, it was a joke, like that game was billed as Caicedo versus Rice. Who's the best midfielder in the league? Oh, it turns out it's Reece James. I think Adam Clary, the football analyst YouTuber guy, he did a whole video on it about Reece James as a midfielder. And similarly, like, I had enough of Malo Gusto inverting into midfield. Certainly the number 10, but, he was amazing in this game, occupying central positions on his heat map. So, news flash, guys. Enzo Maresca knows more about football than a YouTuber. And at this rate, he persisted with Sanchez. Sanchez is looking great. The midfield inversion roles of James and Gusto seemingly working. And if he probably doesn't go in January on a transfer, Tyreek George is probably going to become a prolific number 9. The way things are going with Maresca's experimentations. So, shout out to him. Just to have a little looky look while we're here. I think Trev was excellent, by the way. But I even loved the professional foul from Wesley. Because he knew exactly what he was doing. It was a dangerous transition. He takes him out and he does a little funny gesture. But, he went in for 2 tackles, won both of them. 2 tackles, 2 out of 2 tackles, 3 interceptions, 11 clearances, 3 blocked shots, 5 recoveries. He won 50% of his ground duels, and he lost the majority of his aerial duels, which necessarily isn't like him, but that is a monstrous defensive performance. I think had he not got that yellow card, which, by the way, was a good yellow card to get. He got a 7.5, which is a strong rating, but I reckon that might have been a little bit closer to 7.7, 7.8. Not that we really should give a so-and-so about SofaScore ratings. But, man. And then, obviously, the second half, we sort of see it out. So, let's talk about the big talking points. Defense good, goalkeeper good. We've already covered that. Reece James got a bit heated at time with Tarkowski. Fernandez looks tired. I think we all agree. Enzo Fernandez, Maresca clearly really trusts him, and I get it. In the absence of Caicedo, you look to one of your leaders and keep them on the pitch. I'm pleased Santos came on for Parma. So when was that? He didn't even get an hour, Parma, but that's probably for the best. Like, protect him, and we're 2-0 up, and you get a more sort of defensive player in Santos on, and I guess you push Fernandez up a little bit to where Palmer was, and then Gittins comes on for Garnacho. Estevao comes on, and actually all the substitutes, Estevao, Santos, and Gittins, did silly stuff. Actually, like, Santos did some really good defensive stuff and occupied the midfield well and held onto the ball. But he had a great chance to score, Andre Santos. And this isn't a criticism. He's a friggin' kid who's just settling into this team and, doesn't get many starts. But he scored so many goals for Strasbourg. His finishing is excellent. He scored loads for Brazilian under 20s. Of course, he's in the first team now for Brazil. And he'll be playing at the World Cup alongside his other Brazilian Chelsea teammates. But, he absolutely should have done better with that. He should have scored that chance he had late on to make it 3-0. Gittins had a funny moment as well off the bench. Estevao, everyone's excited when he came on, and he just had a moment where he should have released the ball so much earlier. When he was swarmed by players. And, you swarm and it's not even about, like, doubling or tripling up on Estevao. You've got the ball, you're dawdling. Opposition are going to press on you. He should have released it. He lost the ball. Which is frustrating, and the reflection, and not that it matters too much, but the reflection here would be, the the second lowest rated Chelsea player behind Alejandro Garnacho, who we've got to talk about next, because he probably should have had 2 goals in this game. Is that fair for a young man, but a man of his Premier League experience? How many, has he got 100 Premier League games under his belt? I don't know. Has he? I think he must do. Has he? Well, thereabouts. He's got so much Premier League experience. If he scored one of those goals, no one talks about the other miss. He should have had a couple, really. Really, I don't want to completely, dig him out, because in the same way I used to say this about Nico Jackson, if you're getting in position to miss those chances, you're doing a lot right, yeah? And then there's a sort of mental thing, getting the finishes right. But he was a disappointing, and I think actually, on top of that, I'm going to give him praise for getting into scoring positions. I'm going to criticise not scoring those goals, and I am indeed going to criticise some of his defensive work. And you could visually see on the broadcast, Enzo Maresca was very upset with some of his defensive contribution or lack thereof. Now, can I talk about Pedro Netto as well? Should we, wind down the play? I mean, Cole Palmer was great. His goal was great. When he gets up to fitness, he'll be superb. I've already waxed lyrical about Pedro Netto. Joao Pedro, I don't think it was terrible. There was a couple of moments where he just couldn't hold on to the ball, where it wasn't that hard. He wasn't being bullied. It wasn't really high-octane opposition stuff. He was just doing silly stuff, release the ball. And it's annoying because he can do it. He's got that Joga Bonito Brazilian fast touch flair stuff, but he's trying a bit too hard. You got your goal. I know it was in a loss, but you got your goal midweek. So just do the other stuff, the other stuff that I've been criticising him for, the work off the ball, the holding up play. I don't think it was very good. I don't think his performance was by any means terrible, but he's just so much stuff he needs to improve, Joao Pedro. Still a young player, of course, a positionally versatile player, so he's not going to be the best centre forward ever in terms of hold up play and yada, yada, yada. But, fine. Do you know what I mean? Fine. So a good win, a good professional win, most notably another clean sheet and a defence that's learning each other, which is what you want in a young team. I'm so delighted for the goal scorers, Gusto and Palmer. I'm really, really happy, and I'm starting to slowly nurture a real strong love and feeling to Robert Sanchez. The beautiful bald boy, because he's, I used to hate this Predator. But he's winning me back, baby! So good for him. Shout out to Bob Sanchez. Chelsea are 4th. Liverpool won as well, didn't they? So they are 6th. They are 2 points behind us. Man United, if they win against Bournemouth, they will be level on points with us. But of course, we will, I imagine, still be ahead on goal difference. For Crystal Palace win, they'll be above us. But, things are looking pretty good. We just need to sort ourselves out. We need to, beat Cardiff in the Cup. Caicedo will be back. And we need to absolutely beat Pathos in the Champions League. And then, if we do, it basically all goes down to one game, Napoli away in the Champions League to sort of decide whether we can qualify for that top 8. And hopefully, we sort ourselves out. I mean, it's a morale booster, right? Right? I think so. Let me know what you think, guys. Please do leave your comments. As always, thank you for supporting me. I'm genuinely very grateful for that. You can do so by liking and subscribing, hyping the video, hitting the bell. That's fun. And if you're a podcasting person, you can share it. Look, Jan's got, Jan's content's on podcast platforms now. Let's share it, 5-star it, and do all the nice things. All right, cool. Thanks very much, guys. I hope to see you back here soon. Take care. Peace.